How do you pick which paintings go into your gallery?
The principle is I only exhibit the artists that I like, and I always feel like I have special taste, appreciation for art. That being said, I also need to know a bit more about the personality of the artist. I need to be assured that this artist, they are so focused on their career, they're still going to be there in the next 5 to 10 years.
So I'm on my way back from an opening thinking I really loved every single piece. So I just decided to message the owner of the gallery and ask if she'd be open for an interview. Marj is honestly just as remarkable as her taste. She is the first awardee of the China State Scholarship Fund for Art Talent in Curation. She even studied at the renowned Central St. Martin's, where artists like Alexandra McQueen, Juno Calypso, John Galliano, and Stella McCartney went. So please grab a cup of tea and join us in the next 10 minutes as we talk about her mission, vision, as well as her experience and advice. What advice do you have to artists that want to succeed and maybe one day be in your gallery?
I would say nowadays it is very important for an artist, obviously your technique is very important, but at the same time try to be a bit more out there to talk to different advisors, curators, gallerists, because you could create a treasure in your studio, but nobody get to know about this. So sometimes you just need to know the right person to be able to be seen by the world.
What do you love most about owning a gallery?
There's one word that really speaks to me, which is empowerment. Because, there's a lot of hierarchy in the market in the first place. And if you're an outsider, for example, I don't come from the UK, it is very hard to open doors sometimes. But for me, because of the gallery, I will be able to provide a platform, not just for myself, but also the artists I really admire and I would like to work with.
What role do you think social media plays in the art world? I have some artists who are scared to go on social media because they think it might cheapen the brand. But in my opinion, I'm like, it could open so many doors.
Obviously, social media is very powerful. I know many art galleries out there nowadays, they find their new artists through social medias. But at the same time, sometimes certain kind of videos, I find it to be a bit cringe. So it's more about to what degree you're willing to share your life to the audiences. So that is very important.
There's a very fine line. But worst case, you can always delete it as well. So,
True.
Okay. What is the hardest thing about owning a gallery?
I have actually a very interesting story to share because at first I feel like, it's just a gallery. How hard is it going to be? Obviously, I'm being naive there. But on the opening day, I have at least 5 people came to me and said, wow, it's so brave of you to open a gallery under such an environment. So I don't understand it at first. But then afterwards, obviously, I started to do more research about markets. I started to realize how many gallery has been just closed down. That is a very kind of frightening moment for me. But at the same time, I always feel it's very important to find my own position in the market.
What advice do you have to overcoming that fear?
Because every gallery and every gallerist are different. So it's very hard to find a dream path you can just follow. But I think it's the same for different artists out there. If they really want to make it, there are no really any examples for them to learn from. So you have to, keep trying, keep to find out what works, what doesn't work, and eventually fight your way out of this.
I love that. Are you an artist yourself?
No, I wouldn't say so. My artist career finished when I was 3 years old. Because at that time, my mom obviously wanted me to be an artist. So she sent me to an art school. So one day I bring home a piece of paper. Somehow I learned later on. So that day, the assignment is to draw a horse. But on that piece of paper, instead of drawing a horse, it was a camel. So my mom at a specific moment said, obviously you don't have the talent to be the next Picasso. So let's drop it. But still, all these kind of practices, my love towards art always been in the back of my head. So my BA studied marketing and also a bit of journalism, business. So when I studied at RCA, I feel like it is a way to combine my love towards art and also kind of different background. So being a curator, gallerist is kind of a natural choice for me.
I love that. The RCA is like the Harvard of art. So congratulations for getting in. And what advice do you have to people that want to get into such a school?
I would say to be really good at what you're trying to explore because it is so competitive.
Do you recommend going to university for curation? How did it benefit you and maybe not, I don't know.
For me personally, it's a kind of a bittersweet experience because from like a business background, I was looking for more kind of data market related kind of analyze within curatorial kind of studies. But that wasn't specifically what I had at RCA. They are more kind of art history study, kind of curatorial studies related. Like I didn't feel like I had got what I was searching for in the first place. But later on, I do feel like, oh, this kind of education came back to me. I am able to talk a bit of art. I will be able to explain all this artwork to different audiences.
You didn't get what you specifically were looking for, but you got things that you didn't know you were looking for. Do you have a favorite piece of art, or is there a piece of art that ever changed your life?
I wouldn't say changed my life, but I do feel like I'm specifically very into like French modern art, Pierre Soulages, and also there's a very kind of important French-Chinese painter back in the days called like Wou-Ki. So I very much like his art because he originally started like Chinese traditional painting, but after the Second World War, he moved to Paris.
I love that. Okay, I'll check him out. How do you pick which paintings go into your gallery?
I graduated from RCA about 3-4 years ago. So even though I don't come from a fine art background, I always feel like I have a special taste, appreciation for art the whole time. So when I decided to start my own gallery, the principle is I only exhibit the artists that I like. I'm specifically into abstract paintings, also a bit of surrealism, figurative.
I absolutely love your collection. How do you choose? Is it just like a feeling? Is it very intuitive? Does the artist's personality play a role?
100%. But at the same time, I feel like my attention also kind of shifted between the years, because back in the days, I started as like art lover. So I just appreciate this painting, that's it. And then being a curator, you need to understand the background story of the artist, and whether it makes sense or not. That being said, I also need to, know a bit more about the personality of the artist, whether that kind of attracts me as well, because I need to be assured that this artist, they are so focused on their career, they're still going to be there in the next 5 to 10 years.
What percentage is intuition and what percentage is logic?
Intuition, I would say for me, is 70%. Logic is the rest 30%. Also depending on the mood of the day. So I could be missing out on some very interesting artists out there. But in general, it's more about what I like and what I believe could be, the next superstar in the market.
Is there anything else you want to add? Is there an important message you want to send out to artists or just people in general?
I would say, even though a lot of people complain about how difficult the market is, but at the same time, because of the internet, because of all the social medias, like the opportunity is still out there. So just keep trying, keep finding what you really like, and keep just doing that.
Thank you so much. Can I give you a hug?
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that was great. High five.